It's celebrated between February and March every year. In 2005, the winning fish weighed 75 kilograms and needed 4 men to hoist it onto the scales. In 2006, the festival banned fishing due to safety concerns relating to the low water levels. The importance of the festival to the economy has led the government to conserve fish stock by prohibiting the use of gill nets and cast nets. The Zero Polder project, an irrigation scheme in the Rima River floodplain to the south of Agungu, has been criticized because the reservoir threatens to flood the traditional site of the festival. Activities include craft showcases, canoe races, agricultural showcase, cultural activities, wrestling matches, musical performances, a grand fishing contest and swimming contest. On the final day of the festival, the competition is held, in which thousands of men line up along the river, and at the sound of a gunshot, all of them jump into the river and have an hour to catch the largest fish. The winner can take home as much as $7,500. Competitors are only allowed to use traditional fishing tools, and many prefer to catch fish entirely by hand, a practice also popular elsewhere and known as noodling, and this is to demonstrate their prowess.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Apelon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please discuss.
This is African News on Voice of the People television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People television. Stay with us.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
My name is Made Kuti and you're watching BOPTV.
Important and pressing issues shaping our nation today. I am your host, Nenna Ndomdioto. Today on the issues, we're examining the complexities of Nigeria's politics and governance, from Inec releasing 2027 election timetable to federal government launching Operation Savannah Shield after Kwara attack. Also, El Rufai restates reserve to unseat Tinubu's government. And finally, NNPP Kwankwasia condemn U.S. bill targeting Kwankwaso. Join us as we break down the fact and provide context to help you stay informed. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll dig deeper into these topics. Don't go away. Glad to have you back. Let's dive straight into what we have for you today. The Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec, has officially released the timetable for the 2027 general elections. The chairman of Inec, Professor Amopiton, announced that the presidential and National Assembly elections will be held on Saturday, February 20, 2027. Governorship and State House of Assembly elections will follow 2 weeks later on Saturday, March 6, 2027. The Commission also outlined the official campaign period for political parties and candidates. Campaigns for the presidential and National Assembly elections will run from November 18, 2026 to February 1st, 2027. Meanwhile, campaigns for the governorship and state assembly elections will begin on December 15, 2026 and end on March 5, 2027, exactly 24 hours before the respective election days. Political parties are expected to conduct their primaries between July 1 and September 30, 2026, after which they must submit their list of candidates to the Commission between October 1 and October 31, 2026. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by two distinguished guests. Here in the studio, we have Elvis Elimihele. He is a seasoned journalist and a public affairs analyst. Glad to have you, sir. I'm glad to have you join us, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
I said glad to have you, sir. Glad to have you join us.
Good evening, Nena.
Good evening. It's always a pleasure to have you. I missed you last week.
Yes. Thank God it's Friday. And this is
Yes.
a Valentine edition.
Yes.
We call that.
Joining us virtually, we have Prince Imoshemi. He's a development practitioner and a political affairs analyst. Glad to have you join us, Prince.
Thank you very much. Glad to be on the show. Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, let me start with you. INEC has announced, or they've released the timetable. What do you make of this announcement? What does this portend for our nation? Because so many people have been clamoring for INEC to release timetable, and now they've released the timetable. What do you make of it?
Okay, thank you very much, and good evening once again. And I would say it's about time, because we all know that even before the timetable was released, political parties have already started to campaign, and it was almost as if we were already in the political era. So I would say INEC releasing the 2027 timetable this early is actually a big deal. It signals structure, it signals predictability. Now political parties just have to, they don't have excuses anymore. Preparation starts now. And February 2027 may look far, but in politics, that's basically tomorrow. The real game starts with party primaries and voter mobilization. The timetable just triggered I would say it just triggered the race. So just to conclude, I would say it's a call to the young people, because now we have to play our part also as the voters on voter registration and trying to get our PVCs ready ahead of this 2027 election. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. You said this portends structure, or this shows structure. So I want to ask you, do you think that INEC is really, really prepared for this election?
I would say, if I'm speaking like a mathematician now, let me give it in terms of percentages. I would say they are about 50 to 60% ready. There are still some excuses like, the results cannot be transmitted live because of some network constraints and all that. These are issues that we are clamoring for. These are things that they need to put into place even before 2027 when we have the election. So to answer your question, I think they are not really there yet. They are not 100% ready, but I believe they have the resources. I saw a couple of days ago, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, I saw the proposed budget for the 2027 elections, and I think they have the resources and they have the time to put in any infrastructure that needs to be put into place for us to have a good election. So they are not there yet, but they have the resources to get to where we want to get to.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me come to you, Mr. Elvis. You know, he talked about the budget. Let me start with that. You know, so many people have questioned this budget. Some persons have said that the budget is too much. It's a lot. Charlie, considering the fact that one of the things proposed for the capital expenditure is building a hospital. And you're like, hospital? Like, what does Inec need a hospital for? It looks like misplaced priority. You know, let's go there first before we now begin to talk about this announcement. What do you make of that budget? Do you align with that school of thought that the money is actually a lot?
Yeah, Nena, let me actually, speak in line with that hospital issue. You see, sometimes when this is why most of these our MDAs, ministry, department, and agencies actually don't actually know what they are spec out for. How can an INEC be talking of building a hospital? INEC, incidentally, Nena, they have staff in all the 36 states of the Federation and Abuja. Are they talking of building this hospital around all the 36 states, or they just want to build a hospital in Abuja? How many of INEC staff are in Abuja that need hospital? What INEC should have been talking of, not even INEC, what Nigeria government should be talking of, is how to make Nigeria hospital functional so that you and I can walk in there. Then INEC can now be talking of, okay, they have a HMO, that their staff can get to any hospital and be able to get the best of treatment. Why will INEC be including getting a hospital for themselves in a budget? As far as I'm concerned, that's fraud. They should face their core mandate. Do you know what it means to give a country an election? This is a new administration in INEC. Is this how Ahmed Bouton is going to lead INEC? We saw the monumental failure of Yakub Mahmoud. Even though Nigeria government started rewarding him with national honor and making him an ambassador after he left. But Nigerians today knows too well that Mahmoud Yakub does not have a good name before Nigerians. So Ahmed Bouton should, as respected as Nigerian, applauded his appointment, he should not come up with things that will now begin to make us to that thing. They should quickly find a way to expunge that hospital matter out of that budget. Then be that at its main, Nena, do you know the budget, the timetable they released is loaded. It's loaded. By the time you now begin to talk of appropriation for hospital, you now begin to talk of getting the contractor, begin to talk of supervising it, your attention is divided. Tomorrow we will now begin to hear glitch again, which you don't want to hear in 2027. Why are they trying to divide their own attention? There is a Ministry of Health that's supposed to take care of that. Even Abuja, the federal capital, has a federal capital authority that should be talking of all the general hospitals in Abuja should work adequately so that INEC staff that are in Abuja or any other part of Nigeria, even these respective states, there is no state in Nigeria that does not have a federal medical center. This is what they should have even, let us work with Ministry of Health and say, okay, please, we have staff. They are not even the only one that have staff that need a hospital. Nigeria generally need hospital. So that should be taken out. Then for the timetable, we have seen that they have outlined what they are going to do this year. That should be enough for them to work on, not other things that will distract them. They have said continual voters registration will commence in March. And it's going to end in January 2027. Do you know what that means? They should be concerned with the number of PVCs that are there. People have not picked. Is it too difficult for INEC to even say, let us begin to find a way to begin to dispatch PVCs to people? It's not too much. If I see that one in the budget, I will say, okay, these people are concerned about, erasing voter party. They wanted to capture everybody. You can begin to think of something of this nature abroad. Things of this nature can be used as mail. You get it at the front of your house, you pick it and take it. It should bring in better innovation because the number of PVCs that are lying unpicked by Nigerians is so much in all the 36 states. It should bring in those kind of new ideas that Nigerians will see they are serious. Okay, is it now Nigerians become out now to go and talk of registration? But sometimes after registration, many of them will not go and pick it. I knew what it took my wife to get her PVC in 2022. She traveled to one of the villages in Lagos here, interior villages, towards Badagry, because she was determined to get her PVC. Why don't you find a way to relieve Nigeria of such things and say, okay, we are starting off another voters registration, but These are collection points that will be easier for people to easily pick up their PVCs. Then you're talking of party primaries. Remember, we are talking of national election, and this is a general election. It's not just an off-season election. We're talking of one state. And remember, even this same year, Osun State is coming in. Ekiti State is coming. You have not even thought of all these ones. These loaded duties you have at hand. You are talking of a hospital in your budget. So think of how to give. Let Nigeria begin to see difference in our election. By July 1st, primary starts. We have up to 18 political parties in Nigeria. We don't know how many of them will fly candidates yet, but at least I know up to 10. That's for the national, for the presidency. Then you talk of the whole National Assembly, 360 members of House of Rep. It's not just 360. Remember, all the political parties are going to have aspirants. You understand that they are going to, and Inec is to monitor all these primaries. Then you have 109 House of Rep, Senate members, House of Senate. Then before you have the 36 states of the nation having state House of Assembly, not even the state governors. You see their hands are filled up. Then you are looking for diversionary things again to get distracted. Then the next thing we are going to hear is that, because they concentrated on figments, then the main object. Why are you chasing shadow? We don't want to hear a repetition of what happened in 2023 general election again in Amukutonse-led Inec. So he should retrace his footsteps and face his core mandate. The core mandate of his office is to give Nigeria credible election.
Wow, thank you. Okay, but let me ask you, with all you've seen so far, do you think that Inec is operationally ready to give us credible elections?
If they drop this figment, they should be able to give us credible election, because what they are asking for, IREV is already on ground. 360-something billion was given to Mahmoud Yakub in 2022 to 2023 to conduct 2023 election. Yeah, so there are already structures on ground. Remember, even this card, the PVC, the beavers machine. So many were brought in. Then when we were talking about, will the beavers be enough? Those are the areas now. Where did they not measure up to standard before? How many beavers? How many of them are functioning? Are we reconfiguring it? These are the things they should be talking about. Then, if the IREV, that glitch that we announced to us last time, okay, if there are areas now that we think that, the network is not good enough for us to transmit, because we are talking of election result transmission, in real time. That's what the Electoral Act is heading towards now after the protest this week. You understand? Then, how do we work with NCC, Nigeria Communication Commission, to make sure that we show up networks in areas where there may be failure, so that we will not hear the language of glitch again? These are concerns, and these are the things that will capture the Nigerians' mind more than a hospital. More than a hospital. Many of them, they even I know if he's not feeling fine today, he will not remain to treat himself in this nation. Why is he trying more than the bereaved? If there is anything, it should not even be the one that should be mentioning hospital. It doesn't belong to Ministry of Health. We have Ali Pate, the Minister of Health, that should be talking about Nigerian hospitals are not working well. Not himself. He should be concerned now with how will Nigeria, every part of Nigeria, have network to transmit the result real time. He should be concerned with how am I going to be talking of the welfare of even the ad hoc staff? How will material be able to move to pulling boost in real time? Nena, these are some of the things, constraints we have always having in our election. That there are some polling booths, 1 p.m. materials have not arrived yet. Will it continue from that continue in that trajectory? He should be talking about, okay, riverine area. Can I work with Nigeria Navy to help me to move materials into riverine areas? Okay, if there are other areas that are so difficult, how do I work with Nigeria Air Force? To fly is done in other countries of the world. To fly in materials, there should be this collaboration now. Wherever Mahmoud failed, he should be able to proffer solution to them. Not coming to start adding to the work of Inec, especially those that don't belong to Inec.
Okay, I won't ask you a question, but I'm going to come back to you. I want to ask you something in line with us printing our materials outside the country. Is it not high time that we print our materials, in Nigeria? What is stopping us from printing our materials in Nigeria? These are some of the innovations we should be putting in place. We have Nigeria printing a meeting.
that even goes as far as supposed to be printing Nigeria currency, as sensitive as Nigeria currency. Why can't you even come in collaboration with such an organization and say, okay, I don't want a situation where we will not be spending hard-earned dollars or whatever for forex to begin to print outside. Can't we empower Nigeria printing and minting and say, print this thing for us, locally? Let's empower them. These are collaboration we should be talking about. Why can't we do our things domestically and also come up with results? We go to print in South Africa. This is still an African country. Is the technology? Can't we import technology? With this billion he's mentioning in his budget, he should be able to say, let's collaborate with some of these organizations, these agencies in Nigeria, and get it better. By January 2022, we'll be hearing that even the foreign company printing the materials have not brought them into Nigeria. Then before you know, you now begin to talk of, we are now beginning to think of what way forward. Getting way forward, we now begin to see fake printing and the original printing. We'll not be able to know which one is which. This at the time is okay. Nigeria Printing and Minting Company, let us begin to work together. I want everything, my own administration, I want everything to be domesticated, and these are my plan. Roll out your plan, not hospital. It's an aberration for Inec to be talking of hospital.
Let me go back to our virtual guest. And Prince, I'm sure you're still with us. Before now, we've seen some, would I call it hidden campaigns or subtle campaignings going on. And even when Inec has not even opened the window for campaigning. But now that this timetable has been released, do you think that it will reduce uncertainty, or would it intensify early political tension and, intensify the political tension we already have in the country?
Okay, thank you very much. And to be honest, I think it's only going to heighten the tensions of whatever has been going on, because as far back as the first, I don't want to sound political right now, I'm not, but then as far back as the first year of the current administration, we could already see low-key campaigning already happening. There were billboards, there were roads that were designed with Asiwaju 2027. These are things that we have already been seeing even before now. And now that the Inec has officially come and say, okay, this is the timetable that we're going to use, I think, honestly, it's only going to intensify the efforts that have been downplayed in the past, coming from 2 years back and last year up until this year. I think it's only going to really heighten. There's going to be a lot of tension moving forward. And I think there's going to be a lot of decamping. And I think we're really in for a show with this one. And to just be direct, I don't think things are going to be as calm as we expect or as calm as we would like. I think the political landscape is about to get really tensed because of now that the INEC has rolled out the timetable for the 2027 general election.
Okay, while you were speaking earlier, you kind of talked about the electronic transmission, which has been like it's been in the news. It's been a tug. I don't want to use a tug of war, but it's been a back and forth. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Been a back and forth amongst the senators, amongst Nigerians, and and all of that. But I want to ask you, and I'm going to also throw this question to our guest in the studio: electronic transmission. Do you think that is the only thing we need to make our elections free, fair, and credible? Please unmute your device, please.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I don't think that's the only thing that needs to change. But speaking of one of the major things that Nigerians are clamoring for, we want to see our results in real time. It is possible. It is doable. If you really look at the statistics, it takes about 600 to about 800 kilobyte, not even up to 1 megabyte to transmit the EC, the election form with the results for people to see. So that issue of that excuse of there is no network, it doesn't hold water anymore. And I think we also have some issues regarding some voters. When I say voters, some citizens that are kind of disenfranchised because of the role they play during the election. And that's one of the reforms that we, the Altes, from Yaga Africa are trying to push, because there are a lot of people, election officials that work. I mean, I myself, I have been the presiding officer of one of the elections as far back as some 2, 3, 4 years ago, where we tested the electronic beavers of technology when the INEC first introduced it to us. And I remember that I wasn't able to vote that day because I was working on election day. So this is something that INEC needs to look into. They need to look into. I don't know if it's possible to create a day or two before the election, where these people can, security agencies, police, NSCDC, people that will be working on that election day, people that are expected to work on the election day, because of their job, they shouldn't be disenfranchised from participating and voting in elections. It's their basic human right. So I believe INEC should also, the electronic, the transmission of the transmission of results is there. But then another issue that needs to be looked into is the provision of a time where these people can vote. Right now I've talked about the election workers, the security officials. There are even some prisoners that still have voting rights. So these people, if you calculate all these votes together, you'll be talking about millions here, because it's not just, Nigeria is a lot, we are very, really populated. So if you put in these people in different states, combine it together, you will see that there's some political parties or some political aspirants are actually losing credible votes that would actually be able to make a difference in the general election. So this is also another issue that the INEC needs to look into, in addition to the live transmission of votes.
Okay, thank you. Let me come to you, Mr. Elvis. I wanted to talk about this particular question. There's just been so much clamoring about this electronic transmission, and I'm wondering, aside from is electronic transmission going to make our elections free, fair, and credible, or are there other factors that we need to ensure that our elections are free, fair, and credible?
Election has to do with pre and election day itself and post. These three must work together for an election to be called credible. Pre is the preparation of the campaign. The ruling party must give that atmosphere to other political parties to also have a fair share in having adequate campaign. Not a situation where you were at a billboard because your party is not the party that owns that state, then the governor will go and pull it down. You know what I'm talking about. So that conducive atmosphere for other political parties to also have that right to campaign, to reach out to Nigerians, first of all, must be created. I'm talking about the pre now. It must be created. Political rallies, they must have a situation where another party will say, oh, we want to use also stadium. That is when the governor will not tell you he's renovating it. That stadium is locked up. You cannot use it. Do you understand, Nena? That must be kicked against. The releasing of security for them to also move. They also need security to move. Not only the ruling party should line up convoy because they are campaigning. They need it. These are pre. They must be able to gather for their meetings. Not a situation where they are gathering, then the ruling party will now release hoodlums to go and disrupt their gathering or disrupt their campaign, tear down their billboard and all this. All these ones must be worked against. The ruling party must not allow this. Give a conducive atmosphere to everybody to have a fair play, because politics is game and politics has to do with choice. You can't change my choice. Even if you are bullying me, the person I like is the person I'm going to vote for. That's true. Then get it to the election proper itself. Like what we saw in some states last time, that people were driven out of the queue because they said you are not going to vote for the so-so party. That must not allow to take place. It must be checked. Because if you are doing that, you are inviting anarchy. You cannot disenfranchise somebody. Because the right to vote and be voted for is my own right. That's franchise. It's a constitutional right. So I'm on the queue and I want to vote for somebody. Somebody is coming to tell me, leave the queue. Then you are attacking me. That must be checked. The ruling party must be able to secure everybody that want to go and cast their vote for their candidates. It must not be the ruling party that I love. Whoever I love to vote for, I must have that right to go and cast my vote unhindered or molested. That must be done. Then coming to the role of the umpire itself, that is the INEC. INEC must make sure that, first of all, electoral materials must get to the polling booth as at when due. I was an observer in 2023 general election, Nena. I was one of the observers, independent observer. And I know to that day, especially that day of the presidential election, as early as 6:30, Nigerians were already in their respective polling booths. There were some areas that as at 11 we never got materials. That must not, these are things that discourage people from coming out. So that must be checked. We are talking about credible election now, things that make election to be credible. By the time electoral material now come in, maybe 2 p.m., then you now vote, the vote now spill into 8 p.m. in the night, things will begin to go wrong. Because I remember in some places, in the last election, some people have to go and start bringing out their generator to assist. INEC doesn't have generator. But they were the cause of the problem. INEC must be able to make arrangements with good transport system. I don't even know why INEC is talking about using National Union of Road Transport Workers, knowing fully well that these members of this National Union of Road Transport Workers, in some states, they do the bidding of the sitting governor and even the president. Not even this kind of National Union of Road Transport Workers we have in Nigeria today. We know who the leaders are and how they got here. And what we tell INEC must discourage that. Look for other means of other transport systems that you can use that are much more credible, that are much more refined. Not going to rely on buses from, Agbero until they release their bus or whatever. When their chairman called them and said, this is the person we must work for, that's where all of them is going to work for. They can decide to sabotage the area they know that an opposition party has strength. Material may get there late. You know what that will mean? These are some of the things we'll be talking about. I'm talking of the re-election day now itself. Then post. After we have finished voting, we are now expected to hear results. 3 a.m. announcement of who won must be discouraged. Because as at 3 a.m., I'm sleeping and I'm snoring. I finished voting. I don't want to start hearing that, when I now wake up, they say president has been announced. We have to discourage that. So that's why we are talking about let the technology play its role as expected. Nena, if the technology play its role as expected, even before I go to bed, I've not seen the winner yet. It's not been announced. But with my collation from the IREV and my collation, my mind may be addressed that, okay, this person is coasting towards this victory. I followed Ghana election, December 7th. I already know that Mahama is coming back. I said, Mahama is coming back. Mahama was also just like our former president, Goodluck Jonathan. His boss died, inherited the remaining position, he contested and won. But when he was coming back, he lost the election. Exactly what happened to Goodluck Jonathan. But Ghana now saw that this man is not bad. Let us bring him back because the person they voted for that unseated him disappointed them. So before I went to bed that day, I already see that Mahama is coming back. And I was happy for his victory because I was already seeing everything as expected. I follow politics because that's the only thing I know. So now a situation where Nigeria is talking about we may not have network. Don't preempt it so that day you not go and switch it off and say you already said it was not going to. How can the city senator be telling us that 9 states does not have network? After 26 years of democracy, and the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy has been having budget for 9 years. And we have a very savvy young man who is the minister for this current administration. And he has been doing his best. He has laid underground cable for so many states that we're not having networks since he came in. He's one of the credible, Dr. Bosun, one of the credible ministers we can still speak for in this administration. This is the time to make sure that we give him an assignment. All these states that we think that network is going to fail, let us find a way to shut them up. He can do it. He has a budget. Let him work in collaboration with INEC. So that by the time Nigerians go to sleep, they are already aware that before they even went to bed, they have seen so much of this thing on screen already. I follow America election. I don't live in America. I follow South Africa. I already saw the ruling party in South Africa that there was Nelson Mandela's party. What's the name now? Was already going off. I said, wow, what's going on with ANC? Because I could see it, I could read it and see it in Nigeria here. Why can't Nigeria's election be seen by other African countries and even countries beyond Africa? If Ghana can get it right, South Africa can get it right, even Kenya can get it right, we must be able to get it right. Then immediately after that day, the post-election, when the result is announced, let it be that the result is the result that everybody knows. We already know. That acceptability, Nena, douse tension. It douse tension. Nobody went to court in Ghana. But when there are doubts, the court festers. And at the end of the day, democracy, which is government of number, now become a government that is going to be given to us by only 5 judges or 6 judges sitting and say this is not the president or this is not the governor. We must discourage that. I'm talking of post-election now. We must try as much as people to get it right from the election day itself, so that the post will be credible between you and I and say, no, actually, we actually knew he was going to get the victory. These are some of the areas we should be talking about, Nena.
Okay, before I move to the next conversation that we have tonight, while you were speaking, you reeled out some countries that we know that are getting it right, or that have gotten it right.
Yeah.
But why do you think Nigeria hasn't yet gotten it right? Is it about our leaders? Is it our leaders? Is it corruption? Is it our leaders that are not?
It is greed and corruption. The politicians deliberately do it. An average Nigerian politician is very selfish, is very greedy, and is full of manipulations. So they do all these things because they know too well. You know, this is supposed to just be a very little issue. If you are a student and you didn't read, you will not pass. You will not pass. When we were in school, I don't know what's going on now. When we were in school, if you don't read, you will not pass. So a politician who did not do the bidding of his people for 4 years ought not to be returned. But because they know that they have not done the bidding and they want to go there by all means, they now tend to bring in manipulations. That's why you see it has not worked in Nigeria. Because Nigeria politicians are not accountable to the people that voted them into power. They're only accountable to themselves and their family. That's what Nigerians must be discouraged. That's why we are clamoring on let the system work so that Nigerians can begin to throw out those ones that never did their bidding for the first opportunity they were given. 4 years. If you don't do my own bidding for these 4 years, you should be thrown out. You are not expected to come back. That's why we are calling on credible electoral system, electoral acts that will give Nigerians that leverage, that opportunity to be able to say, this is the person I voted for, and this is the person, and this is the person, and my result counted as expected. That's the issue, Nena.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Elvis. Let's move to the next conversation, and of course, we are delving into security now. The federal government has launched a new security operation following a deadly terror attack in Kwara State. The renewed offensive, codenamed Operation Savannah Shield, involves the deployment of military personnel, police units, and National Forest Guard to reinforce security in vulnerable communities. Authorities confirmed that at least 75 people were killed in the attack, prompting immediate federal response. In a related development, the federal government has ordered the redeployment of police officers from VIP escort duties to frontline security operations to reinforce manpower and boost security presence in Kwara, Plateau, Benue, Kogi, Nasarawa, Niger, and the Federal Capital Territory. Let me come to you first, Prince. Oh, okay. I heard that our virtual guest is out. So let me come to you, Dr. I said Dr. Elvis.
Maybe I'm heading.
Maybe you're heading to Doctor. Let me come to you, sir. Okay, what do you make of this Operation Savannah Shield? Would you call it like a rebranding of an existing counter-terror operations, or what do you make of it?
No, we have had so many of these operations.
Yeah.
We have Operation Hadikai.
Yeah.
We have Operation Lafia Dole. We have so many of these operations that, you know, they have been given different names. But the major thing there is that it is not just the name, it is the action that follows the name that we should be talking about. Now, we saw what happened in Woro and Nuku community, you know, in Kwara State that led to this Operation Savannah Shield. All those things that led to the killing of those Nigerians, over 200 Nigerians that died, you know, massacred unjustly, you know, avoidable death. With this new Operation Savannah Shield that is brought up now, they should be able to work with intelligence. They should be proactive. Not when it happens, then maybe it happened again, another operation, whatever will be set up again, you know. We don't need that. We don't need a situation where it is after the whole thing has happened, Nigerians have died, before the president will now begin to come up with whatever operation, or the Nigeria Armed Forces. Now that this one has been, inaugurated and come into operation in Kwara State, and all that fringes around Kwara, Niger, they must be able to do real-time intelligence security gathering. They have to gather intelligence so that if there is any other group, because I heard that there is another group now that have written a letter to a community in Kwara that they are coming. So this very operation, Savannah Shield, should be able to know where that letter, such information is coming from, and those that are behind it. And it may not even be the community that is mentioned. They may know that the attention is of the security forces is on that community. They may go to the neighboring community. So it is an encompassing thing. They should be very proactive. Reactionary matter should be discouraged in security issues. Then again, many of government spaces in Nigeria, Nena, this should be discouraged. The governors that are having so much now, since the removal of fuel subsidy in Abuja, the humongous FAC allocation that they get, what are they using it for? We were told last time that even if the security has actually took off from Ilorin, before they would have gotten to Woro and Kunu, it would have taken up to 4 hours. A journey that is supposed to be less than 1 hour, because there are no roads. The governors should put their full step down and develop their respective states. There was a time last time when the president said, I was having a meeting with them, and I said, please go back to your state and wet more ground. Wetting more ground is let development get to the grassroots so that people can feel it. Then the president have actually gone to the Supreme Court, has given local government autonomy, but we have not seen it work. If local government works, Nena, some of these government spaces will be covered up, will be filled up. That is the government that at the lowest ebb, the government with the people at the grassroots. There is nobody in Nigeria that did not come from a ward. As I sit here, I know my ward. I'm from Ward 9, Eastern Central in Edo State. Do you understand? I know that after the ward, I have a councillor in my ward, and I have a local government chairman. My councillor should be able to know what I need in my ward and report to the chairman of my local government. So if the local government is now having an autonomy and they now get their allocation directly from federal government, the local government chairman must be held accountable for some of this development in his own local government. So all these government spaces, Nena, if local government works, it will reduce. These are things we'll be talking about. It will help security. If the armed forces can move with time and get to where there is trouble, that sunset and sunrise killing in Woro from 6 p.m. in the evening to 7 a.m. in the morning would have been averted. At least within that range of almost 12 hours, they would have been able to get to that place and rescue and help these people. So these are some of the areas that everybody must speak to, not just talking about Operation Savannah Shield. They can't do it alone. Then Nigeria Air Force should also be, whatever is their challenge, if the ground troop cannot get there early enough, the Air Force should also be at the rescue of Nigerians. So if this Operation Savannah Shield is made up of all the armed forces, those, especially Nigeria Air Force, should be activated at all times. That even if the ground force is moving in, let this one first of all go and move in to rescue Nigerians that are under attack. These are some of the areas that we should be looking for in this Operation Savannah Shield.
Okay, let's look at this redeployment of VIP escorts.
Yes.
There was a time the president gave the directive that all VIP, every police officer that is on VIP duty should be withdrawn. And then we saw that afterwards, the IGP withdrew like 11,000. Yeah, and then now, just at the wake of this this particular incident in Kwara State, now there's like an enforcement again of this redeployment. Yeah. Do we have to wait until something happens before we ensure that whatever directive that has been given begins to work, or it's obeyed?
No, we are not supposed to wait. That's why I was saying that security must be proactive. We must be proactive in security matters. We are not supposed to wait. Even this one that have been, this 11,000 that have been brought out from carrying Madame handbag and carrying a suitcase, now, they have to be retrained. Many of them have been out of formation. They've been out of their real core operational duties, so that they will not just go and become victims in the hands of all these terrorists. I hope they have retrained them and let them get them back to the real rudiment of what they are supposed to be doing. Because for so many years, some of them are now beginning to carry Madame's handbag into parties and markets. And some of them, the other ones are carrying a gas briefcase to airport and whatever. So these were not their duties any longer. So if they are not retrained to become operational officers, they are going to be victims to all these elements. So redeploying them is a good one. But I hope they have given them the necessary refreshment training that will bring them to line, so that we will not begin to record casualty from our armed forces. You know, that will act as moral reduction to others. If anything that will demoralize the Nigerian armed forces should be checked at all costs, whether military, whether armed police or whatever, because nobody sees a fellow person that we were standing together now is already laid down and is dead. Nobody will be happy about it. So before they talk of all this redeployment to all these troubled states, I hope they have given them a refresher course to bring them back to what they were originally trained for before politicians snatched them and made them to become domestic servants.
Well, excuse me. Well, that's the way that analogy is very.
Yes. That's what they have been doing.
The analogy is so
they become a school run,
wow.
going to drop children in school,
So,
Madame's my supermarket and market, or gas briefcase to the airport and whatever. That's what they've been doing. And you know, they were happy doing it, but now they have been brought back to their real job. So they should be given refreshers training so that they can function properly.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on. Former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai says the opposition must remain resolute in his effort to unseat the government of President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 general elections. He made this declaration following an attempt by security agencies to detain him at an airport. While describing the airport episode as unfortunate, totally unnecessary, and probably criminal, El-Rufai stated that the incident strengthened his determination to work towards Tinubu's removal from office. Meanwhile, Atiku has criticized the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, describing it as partisan, following the failed attempt to arrest El-Rufai. What's your opinion about the attempt to arrest El-Rufai before we now move on to this, whatever it is that he's saying?
Well, if he has skeleton in his cupboard, it's not bigger than the state. This is a country with a functional constitution. It can be picked up. But the only thing I didn't really like the way they did it, the security agencies, was that they know his address. He's already coming into the country. He's not going out. So you can allow him come in, then get to his house and pick him or invite him for whatever questioning. You know, now turning a sacred place. An airport is a sacred place. That El-Rufai's supporters now have to invade the airport. Where is it done in the world? Where is it done in the world? When you now start hearing listening to and say disrespect nation, giving us different name, the America Donald Trump giving us different name. It is all these people that are bringing us to this disrespect that we get all over the world. People now came to the airport because you hear your leader is coming in, and the security agency said they want to arrest him. Then you now went and start shooting him. It's not done anywhere. This could have been done maturely and more civilized. Let him get to his house. Is he not coming in? He's not going out. Then you can send invitation to him, and if he refuses to honor your invitation, then you cannot do otherwise. We saw sometime when they went to Bogo, the former governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha's house, ESCC. Remember that? We saw all the shenanigans they played around the former governor of Kogi State, what is former governor of Kogi State. We saw Yaya Bello. We saw all that happened. So let him learn and let him get to his house. Then pick him up to answer for some questions. Not what happened in the airport. It was very shameful for a nation.
But some persons have said that this is political witch hunt. Do you see any?
No. Forget about political witch hunt, Nena. If there's any political witch hunt, let him be arrested and let them charge him to court and let the court do his job. Do you understand? If there is anything, you know that politicians always come up with narrative. Is he the only politician in Nigeria? Of what relevance is he? There are bigger politicians than El-Rufai. Why has Obi not been picked up? Even Atiku Abubakar, why has he not been picked up? If he has anything to answer against the state of Nigeria, he should be called for it. He's not bigger than Nigerians. And Nigeria as a country. So anything that has to do with political winchon is always a consultation by the politicians to encourage that kind of sympathy from you and I. The same you and I that they have rendered to this level that we are. So don't sympathize with them. There is nothing like political winchon. If there is anything against it, he should face the charges. He should go and face himself and defend it. He has lawyers. There are lawyers. So he should not be the one that is talking about political winchon. Because I don't even see how politically relevant he is now that anybody should be talking about winchon him. If they are against the state, he has questions to answer. The security agencies should be allowed to do their job.
Well, let's have a concluding thought before we draw the curtains on today's program.
We are entering the bigger era of Nigeria politics, come 2027 politics. The ruling party must make the atmosphere to be conducive for every political party that want to bring out candidates, aspirants and candidates for the election to have a fair play, not a situation where the ruling party will not be intimidating others because they are the one that has the mantle of governance. It must not be done. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The people must be allowed to participate fully in who governs them. The democratic system of the country, the people owns it. So the ruling party must not, hijack it and make it like we are not become a motor park team. It's only touts in the motor park that fights, destroy campaign ground, destroy meetings, destroy billboard. Those must not be allowed to happen as we are entering the era now. Now that the timetable has been released. That's my parting shot, Nena.
Thank you very much, Mr. Limihele. Thank you very much for being a part of it. And thank you, Prince, for joining us all the way from Abuja. That's all we have for today's episode of The Issues. Explore the challenges facing Nigeria's politics and, of course, electoral governance. Thank you for being a part of it. Don't forget to tune in next time for more in-depth analysis and discussion. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on the latest news and insights. Until next time, stay informed. I am Nenna Ndomdioto. This has been The Issues on Voice of the People Television, where the future faces forward. Please don't forget to stay tuned for Hashtag with Vivian by 8 p.m. Don't go away.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice. Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens. We bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Good evening, Africa. My name is Mama Kore, actor, model, producer, and I'm giving a big shout out to VOP TV, man. Keep watching. Don't change the dial. Thank you and God bless you.
My name is AY, and of course, I represent the voice of the people, and that's why I'm on VOP. AY say so.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Miriam Tima from the Real Housewives of Lagos and the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Africa. Shout out to VOP, the voice of the people. You already know. Stay tuned, keep watching. And don't forget, VOP is the best.
All right, hello, it's a boy that's shagging man fine back with Melanie Poppy Black Skin Boy. This is VOP TV. If you're not watching VOP, I don't know why you're watching. Maybe you're watching your weight.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Wale Ojo, and you're watching VOP, Voice of the People.
Hi, guys. You already know who it is. This is New Energy. Flyers, whatever, live it. Keep watching VOP.